Well, the interest curve is through the roof. I mean, everybody is interested for obvious reasons. One thing I'll say, and we talked about people, process, and technology. I mentioned that technology is an enabling function, and it is. I don't want to suggest that it isn't. I definitely believe that. But I think what AI is kind of doing, in you asking that question, is it's sort of creating an enhancement component. Technology for me has always been that enablement, but now when you see what AI can do, it can really enhance pretty much everything that you're doing. It's not new. It's been around for a while. Some organizations have been able to take advantage of it because they have great programmers, or just a ton of resources, like Netflix with product recommendations, as an example. It's a function we all know what the Facebooks and some of the social media platforms of the world have been able to do. So uh, companies have been leveraging it, but I guess at least a form of it, I should say. The difference now is so much is at our fingertips, and that's new and that's different, and that's the change part that can affect small businesses just like it can affect municipalities, large organizations. I mean, they all can leverage a lot of the features that AI has now brought to the marketplace in a variety of ways, not just through ERP systems, but yeah, through what you can do with your own platforms and your own data and create your own IP, in many respects. So I think from that end, that's the difference. And do organizations know how to leverage it? No. They're still trying to figure out what it is. They're still trying to get their mind wrapped around terminology. They're still dealing with, I think, the consumer end of artificial intelligence, with some of the popular features that are out there in the marketplace, like some of the AI things that are out there. I love Zapier, by the way. That's a tool that I think you can get a lot of use out of. But tools like that, tools like chat, things that consumers are now dealing with, that are like, wow, I didn't know I could do this. So they're still trying to figure that out before they can really dive into, well, organizations have features too. Organizations have can leverage AI in amazing ways, just like people can in their spare time. So I no, I don't think people are taking advantage of. I think they're trying to figure it out, and I think as they come to understand how powerful it can be and how transformative it can be for their organizations, I think it really comes back to exactly what we've been discussing: the change aspects. How does it change our people? How does it change our process? How can we automate things in ways that we never really thought we could before? So it's extremely impactful, and it's just causing a ton of disruption. I think that's the simple way to answer that.
Yeah, yeah, well said. And I want to ask you a question here, Aaron, just as a follow up. And when you look at just sort of general trends, whether it's AI or other technological trends, or maybe non-technological trends that we're seeing in digital transformations, when you look to the EMEA region in particular, and even broader, globally, what are some of the major trends you're seeing in the space as far as changes, whether it's technological or not?
I think there's probably a couple of things. One is the actual, the functionality that can be supported as part of the ERP system itself, or as part of the digital transformation. So, you get into robotic process automation, or workflow optimization driven by AI. There's a lot of that coming through, I think. But then on the other side, from an organizational point of view, we're also seeing a lot of AI-driven kind of cybersecurity and risk management. There's a lot of work going on there that's able to help that. The other interesting thing that isn't really EMEA, but I've definitely, I think different organizations have different risk cultures and how aggressively they will jump onto new technology and utilize that. So I think it's probably more of a company by company, or even industry by industry, rather than region by region type thing. But one of the areas we've seen some interesting developments is just in the way that you can do a lot of AI augmented code development, software development, and how that impacts customers' comfort level and total cost of ownership as it regards customization. Because all of a sudden, with low code or no code tools, do you actually need the SI vendor to come back in and make future changes for your ERP? If you decide, hey, we're going to do some optimization in 3 or 6 months after go live, can you actually do that yourself now using AI tools to help you support that? Now, there's there's a lot of knowledge and experience needed in terms of deployment, and not just writing code isn't necessarily the answer for everything. But the fact that organizations can make a lot more progress than they used to, even just, knocking up examples of a new UI. It's very easy now to just describe what you want in numerous different technologies, and it'll come up with a user interface, and sending that off to, instead of bringing in a designer or a UI expert. There's a lot of areas where organizations themselves, without having to use technical expertise from third parties, and how that will change both now and definitely in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, how that will actually change these implementation projects, and the balance, not necessarily the balance of power, but the balance of expertise, and what can be done by people who aren't software development experts, and how that will relate to the actual implementation of this technology itself.